Western-made aircraft is being used for up to 95% of passenger flights in Russia. Since the beginning of the full-scale war against Ukraine and the strengthening of the sanctions regime, the Federation has been trying to keep Russian civil aviation afloat. State funding of the industry is one way of doing so.
Russian authorities had to fill the Russian aviation market with money, and this aid is estimated at about $4.5 billion, just in order to maintain these passenger flows. Because according to various estimates, the passenger traffic, which in the 2021 was almost 100 million passengers, was expected to be about 74 million in the 2022. But Russian airlines managed to carry 25 million only because the support of state-owned companies made it possible to reduce the cost of tickets on domestic flights.
The state ruble allowed prices not to skyrocket, but the rise in prices still hit Russians. The average price for flight in an economy class cabin inside the country in 2023 increased by more than 22%. Medusa writes, citing data from the Federal State Statistics Service. This way, at the end of the year, the average cost reached 7,600 rubles for 1,000 kilometers of flight. However, the price is not the most frightening thing in modern Russian aviation. Having lost access to Western technologies, the Kremlin has started to buy components for aircrafts using grey schemes. It plans to cooperate with Ethiopia, Indonesia, Pakistan and Malaysia.
As a rule, airlines buy new spare parts, and those parts that can still be used and were not broken down. They pretend to be broken on the documents, they write them off and secretly import into the territory of the Russian Federation for further installation on those aircraft. That way they continue to fly, however, obviously with a lower flight resource.
Back in September 2022, the International Civil Aviation Organization marked the Russian Federation with red color, indicating an extremely high risk to flight safety.
Planes in Russia have begun to systematically roll off the runway, and pilots are complaining en masse about the poor condition of the flying field at the airports. Massive complaints about landing strips have been mentioned by Aeroflot pilots. A list of problematic airports has already been compiled. Pilots should be careful when landing in Khabarovsk, Ufa, Khanty-Mansiysk and Chelyabinsk, in the publication by the Moscow Times on Telegram.
Things with military aviation are no better in Russia. On January 17th alone, 2 military helicopters crashed in one day. As a result, 1 person died and 7 were injured. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.